Milk contaminated with deadly E. coli. Feed additives triggering national boycotts. Products where milk is mostly water and powder. These are 5 milk brands sitting in British fridges right now. The milk you trust isn't what it used to be. Number 1. Cravendale filtered milk. How far modern milk has drifted from reality. This isn't just milk, it's milk run through ceramic filters so aggressive most people have no idea what they're pouring. The branding screams purer and fresher, but filtering doesn't just remove harmful bacteria, it strips away the good stuff too. Natural bacteria that aid digestion, delicate proteins, subtle flavors from grass-fed cows, all removed to create liquid that sits unopened for 3 weeks. Real fresh milk from local farms used to last days. Cravendale lasts weeks. That's not better preservation, that's industrial processing removing everything that makes milk alive. And here's what shocked people in December 2024. Arla announced trials of Bovaer, a controversial feed additive to reduce methane. The backlash was immediate. Videos went viral of people pouring Cravendale down sinks, thousands boycotting, shop owners reporting 0 sales. One retailer said, "We normally sell a case per week. Sales have completely stopped." The UK Food Standards Agency called Bovaer's ingredient corrosive to the eyes, a skin irritant, and potentially harmful by inhalation. Yet they're feeding this to cows producing your family's milk. Arla claimed it's safe for climate goals. Consumers weren't buying it. Boycott. Arla trended for days. Arla never disclosed which products contained milk from Bovaer-fed cows, so customers abandoned the brand entirely. Cravendale markets itself as premium. You're looking at industrial liquid shaped by machinery and controversial additives. Number 2. Tesco Everyday Value, milk. What happens when price becomes priority? At 90p for 2 litres, ask yourself, how many corners were cut? The answer becomes clear when you look behind the label. This milk comes from large-scale indoor systems where cows rarely see pasture, kept inside year-round, fed grain-heavy diets, pushed for maximum output. When animals live in conditions built purely for volume, quality reflects the system. Grass-fed milk naturally contains omega-3s and beneficial fats. Grain-fed milk? Higher omega-6s, flatter nutrient profile, thinner texture. Value milk separates quickly because proteins have been stressed by processing. Ultra-high heat treatments destroy natural bacteria and delicate structures. That's why it often tastes metallic, flat, or artificially sweet. The supply chain is deliberately opaque. Tesco sources from rotating suppliers offering the lowest price. 1 month, Scotland. Next month, Eastern Europe. 0 consistency. When you pay 90p for 2 litres, dairy farmers receive roughly 28 to 30 pence per litre. Below production costs. This milk comes from operations where welfare and quality become luxuries they can't afford. Tesco Everyday Value is affordable, but affordability means nothing when the product has been stripped of everything that made it milk. Number 3. Aldi Everyday Essentials milk, sold as a no-nonsense budget option, but simplicity stops at the label. Behind the scenes, this moves through one of Europe's most industrial supply chains. Aldi's milk is sourced from massive networks across the UK and EU. Milk from dozens of farms blended together long before bottling. When milk is mixed at this scale, traceability disappears completely. You can't know how those cows lived, what they were fed, whether they ever saw grass or sunlight. Everything becomes an anonymous liquid pooled from countless sources. Grain-heavy diets create milk that's flatter, thinner, lower in natural richness. These are high-yield herds raised for volume, not quality. Many farms use indoor housing systems where efficiency is the only priority. The processing compensates with aggressive homogenization and heat treatment to make everything uniform. Same color, same consistency, same bland flavor profile. But here's what Aldi doesn't advertise. The extremely low prices create a race to the bottom. Farmers are locked into contracts paying them less than production costs. Many British dairy farmers have gone bankrupt. More milk is sourced from countries with lower welfare standards. Poland, Lithuania, Czech Republic. Places where regulations are looser. Aldi Everyday Essentials may be cheap, but it's cheap because the entire system prioritizes cutting costs over quality. When you're paying 80p per litre, someone's paying the real price, and it's not Aldi. Number 4. Sainsbury's Basics milk. What happens when milk becomes a volume product instead of food with standards? This range doesn't come from pasture-based farms, it comes from the lowest cost end of industrial supply chains. Large indoor operations where cows live on grain mixes instead of grass, never experiencing natural grazing. Grain-heavy feeding produces thinner, paler milk with flatter taste. Because this range pulls from milk that often doesn't make the cut for higher tiers, you're not getting creamier fats or fuller flavor. It's the bottom of the barrel. To achieve consistency across thousands of bottles, the processing is brutal. High heat, aggressive homogenization, long-distance logistics demanding products stable enough to survive the journey. Natural bacteria, delicate proteins, subtle flavors, collateral damage. That's why this milk separates in hot drinks and tastes almost chalky or chemical. The processing does heavy lifting because the farming system doesn't deliver quality. Sainsbury's tender contracts to the lowest bidder. Dairy processors compete by cutting costs. That means sourcing from farms with highest yield, lowest welfare systems. Cows that produce 40-50 litres per day instead of natural 20 to 25 litres. These animals are pushed to their limits: mastitis, lameness, shortened lifespans. Sainsbury's Basics isn't just cheap milk. It's milk shaped by economies of scale and compromises that start long before the bottle reaches shelves. Number 5. Müller Fresh. Whole milk. One of Britain's most recognisable dairy names, which is exactly why people never question it. The branding looks premium, the bottle looks reassuring. The name carries weight in British households. But look behind the label and you find a system far more industrial than shoppers realise. Müller sources from a massive network of farms across the UK, thousands of suppliers contributing to the same pool. When milk from that many farms is blended together, you lose all traceability. You don't know how those cows lived, what they were fed, what standards applied on each individual farm. Everything ends up in the same tanker, mixed into one anonymous batch, processed for volume. The processing is designed for scale, not quality. High temperature treatments, standardized homogenization, long shelf life, prioritized over natural taste and nutrition. And here's what damaged Müller's reputation. In January 2024, their Shropshire facility was linked to a quality control failure. Microbiological contamination was detected, thousands of litres recalled. The incident was quietly handled with minimal publicity, but it exposed serious problems in their quality assurance. When you're processing millions of litres weekly, maintaining standards becomes nearly impossible. One contaminated batch slips through because testing can't catch everything at that scale. Müller markets itself as fresh and wholesome, family-friendly imagery everywhere. But strip away the branding and you're looking at one of the biggest players in the same industrial system producing all-budget milk. Premium packaging doesn't mean premium farming. That's what Müller counts on you not realising.